welcome back to David Does What He Wants, and today we have a Winter Volksgrenadier Battalion. It's going to be used for Battle of the Bulge and the Russian Winter Offensive for the Fight Your Own Wars / Heroes All / Fight Your Own Battles rule set. I will link that in the description. It's a free download rule set for World War I battalion and regimental size combat. Starting off, we have our Volksgrenadier company. Now this rule set is scaled down by a third, so all formations, platoon, the squad becomes platoon, platoon becomes a company, company becomes a battalion. So here we have, starting on the far right, our Volksgrenadiers armed with assault weapons, submachine guns, and assault rifles. All squads have a light machine gun. In the middle, we have a Volksgrenadier platoon, and on the far left, we have a Volksgrenadier platoon. These are armed with Panzerfausts. For company HQ, we have the officer in the center and a Panzerschreck. So this is the basis of our force. The next unit is this Panzergrenadier company. Starting on the far right, we have their assault section, which is all armed with assault rifles and submachine guns, as well as a light machine gun. They are mounted in SDKFZ 251 half-track. Next, we have two platoons of Panzergrenadiers, both mounted in Opel Blitz half-tracks, and then we have the HQ, Opel Blitz trucks. We have the HQ, which is mounted in a 251 half-track, SDKFZ 251 half-track. They have a Panzerschreck on the far right, light mortar on the far left, and command in the center, HQ in the center. This gives your force some punch that can stay along with your tanks, in addition to some motorized backup that you can use to plug gaps anywhere in the battlefield. In addition to the two infantry companies, which form the core of this force, we have the anti-tank platoon. So Volksgrenadier companies normally would have batteries of 8 to 14 guns in each anti-tank company for the anti-tank battalion. But since they've been seeing some combat, we've reduced it to a section of 2 guns, a platoon of 2 guns, so to speak. Because this is late war, the main gun is a PaK-40, and we have that mounted on both the Raupenschlepper Ost, which was a tractor converted to have a PaK-40 in an armored, open-topped setting, and a PaK-40 with the tow of some horses. PaK-40 is on the far right, horses are in the middle, and the Raupenschlepper is on the far left. This gives your infantry some punch to take out enemy tanks and also provide some fire support. Next up is the machine gun company. This consists of 2 machine gun sections, 3 medium mortar sections, 81mm mortars, plus a forward observation team. These can support your infantry, cover flanks, fire smoke, really just do it all, kind of keep enemy infantry pinned down as well as conceal your advance. So those are useful units to have in any Volksgrenadier company. Next, we have artillery support, battalion artillery support. So here we have a light howitzer, the 7.5 centimeter LE IG-18, Leichte Infanteriegeschütz 18, which is the standard German light support howitzer that can be used to fire HE. We have a PaK-36, which can both fire anti-tank rounds, add some extra anti-tank to your units, and can also be used to fire the late war German high explosive grenade. And finally, we have a flak veiling to keep enemy aircraft off and also provide some autocannon coverage if you need that. Next, we have the mixed Panzer company. This is 2 Panther medium tanks and 2 German Panzer IV medium tanks. Panthers and Panzer IVs were the main medium tanks, and these will fit in perfectly with any battle on the Russian front or the Western front. The Panthers have heavy frontal armor and some really powerful guns that can punch through all but the heaviest tanks, and the Panzer IVs are a good all-round tank. You can use them for supporting an infantry platoon, infantry company, or you can use them to go head-to-head with average Allied tanks like T-34s and Shermans. And here we have the big cats, the moment some of you might have been waiting for. And for those of you who are wondering, the tank on the far left is a Panzer III. Tiger companies were normally allotted 6 of these. Sometimes they were often taken out of Schwere Panzerabteilungs in the later war period, but for purposes of control and keeping the forces about even for your average Kampfgruppe, we are giving this unit 2 Tigers and a Panzer III. You can use the Panzer III to scout ahead, find enemy positions, gauge infantry or other tanks, and of course the 2 Tigers are formidable forces on the battlefield wherever they show up. You can expect them to do some heavy damage and scare your opponent. And here we have our armored reconnaissance units. We have a Panzer II F. Now, I know the F was normally outmoded, but we are using that as an L. Looks Panzer II, and then we also have a 38T German tank. These were often fitted with special reconnaissance turrets with a 2-centimeter flak and a light machine gun in the later war, but we're going to use it as a 38T because some of those were still used for the reconnaissance role. You can send these guys up ahead of your armored columns or put them on picketing roles depending on how you're using them. Now, no German late war force would be complete without self-propelled guns. Here we have 2 Jagdpanzer 38T Hetzers. They sport a good gun, good frontal armor, but their small size and speed is the real kicker in them. Use these to set up ambushes, support the infantry, or do long-range fire support, but I do not recommend using them in the assault role or the tank role, as their thin sides and rear often betray themselves. And finally, the tank company battalion, the tank battalion HQ, the King Tiger. This heavy armor and big gun, it is being used as a rationed vehicle in terms of gasoline, though not ammunition. Its heavy armor, as I've already mentioned, and its big gun are both incredibly devastating on the battlefield, killing both tanks and infantry alike. It can punch through the heaviest of all enemy vehicles. This is a great Schwerpunkt, as the Germans would use it, and also a really cool HQ unit. It also looks awesome on the table. It's an Italian model and super high quality. Just wanted to put that in. And finally, we have the Battalion HQ. We have our headquarters, our 2 leaders, the men on the far left in the foreground, and they are in a Kubelwagen. In the background, we have some combat engineers, including a man with a flamethrower, as you might be assaulting fortified bunkers, or even just foxholes in a forest. Flamethrower is always good to have, and they can use satchel charges to knock out heavy enemy positions. We have a motorcycle for light reconnaissance and defense of the headquarters, same as the light machine gun team. Those guys can be used to keep your commander safe. So that's about it for the German Volksgrenadier Kampfgruppe. You can use this for late war, spring. I would recommend using it from, say, Battle of the Bulge onward. Though not all the unit sizes are accurate, they are scaled down to the point where you can make it pretty fair with any allied units you should encounter. So yeah, more videos coming shortly. Like and subscribe.